Hello, and welcome to another edition of One Bad Veggies Root Beer Review, where in this review we find out if there's gold in their hills. So this review will be about Gold Mine Root Beer, which is another Rocket Fizz joint. This one apparently is bottled in the same place as Indian Wells Reserve, which is a root beer that I tried in the past that I actually really liked, although this one does have according to them, a unique flavor profile from Indian Wells, but you'll see that there is some similarities, at least bottle wise, very minimal, but you'll understand. Besides that, never had this one, excited to try it. I find a lot of these fancier bottled root beers tend to definitely have like unique flavor profiles that are different from your average root beer. Like definitely Indian Wells Reserve had a specific flavor that I thought was actually very good. And then you have stuff like the special editions from like Virgil's and stuff like that, the nutmeg special editions that definitely has a different flavor to it than regular Virgil's. So hopefully that this root beer will give me another unique experience. So let's just go ahead and get right into the ingredients. So let's go ahead and get into the ingredients, which should be appearing right there. Here. Anyway, nothing pointed out to me as like super incredible about the ingredients. One of the things that kind of stuck to me is, okay, my understanding is that citric acid is a preservative. The bottle also claims to have no preservatives. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what citric acid is in this stuff for, but I was pretty sure that it was some sort of a preservative. Although it's not like a chemical preservative, it's just citric acid, so it's technically, I guess, would be a more natural preservative rather than a chemical preservative. Anyway, let's take a look at the root beer. The bottle, ooh, a little tilted on the camera there. Let me try to fix that. I think that's a little better. Anyway, as you can see, big bottle. In fact, let me try to move the camera in a little bit just so you can see it goes up to the top there. It's got a nice wax top on the bottle, and that's kind of what I was talking about before when it comes to the similarities between it and Indian Wells. As far as the bottling goes, Indian Wells also had a wax covered top and stuff like that. So, that's kind of neat. It definitely like makes you assume that you're looking at something maybe fancier than it is. Although the label isn't necessarily as like nice looking as Indian Wells. Indian Wells had a very like classy label with just a couple like barrels and stuff on it and everything. One thing though, I got to show you this. So what you see there is a like a banknote or something like that, saying for a claim on a free bottle of Death Valley root beer, which I think I have reviewed that. If I haven't yet, then I will soon. But what this does is for every 5 bottles of Gold Mine that you buy, you can get yourself a bottle of Death Valley root beer, which, that's kind of a cool little gimmick. Which, though, when you start thinking about the math of it, a bottle of Gold Mine, I believe, is maybe between like $7 to $10 or something like that. Let's just cut in the middle and just say like it's $8. Okay. So $8 times 5, you end up spending $40 on 5 bottles of root beer, so you can get a free $3 bottle of Death Valley root beer. So I mean, it's still cool, although not the biggest fan of Death Valley, to be honest. I do think we reviewed it, and I don't think I was too crazy about it, so I'll probably just end up buying another bottle of Gold Mine. Well, we'll see. We don't know about Gold Mine yet. It might be awful, but I kind of have my doubts about that. In fact, let's go ahead and crack it open and get ourselves a little bit of the scent so we can find out. I'm just gonna record this part just because I'm taking the wax off. I almost feel bad taking the wax off because it is just so neat. But but it is also a pain in the neck. But, you know, it's there for the flair of it. I appreciate that. But anyway, makes it harder to do the part where I take the top off. That's all I'm saying. All right, now that I got most of the wax off, let's go ahead and try with attempt number 1 to get this open. And if not, I'll let you know if it's attempt number 2. Oh boy, that is. It's fighting me. Ugh. Oh boy. This one, like I said, hey, you know what? It's covered in wax. This is going to be tough. Hopefully I don't get any wax inside of the actual drink. Okay, it's still fighting me here. Listen, you guys are going to ride this one out with me. Oh, we got it. We got it. It's open. Oh, wow, it bubbled all the way to the top too. Okay, let's go ahead. Ooh, boy. So there is definitely some complexity to this one, I'll say. It is abundant with all sorts of scents and flavors, and it's almost overwhelming. Let me try it again real quick here. Yeah, that has got a lot to it. You know, definitely smell some anise, real strong anise smell, but not like the type that makes me worry that it's gonna have too much in it. A lot of herbal, a lot of rooty. Definitely, you know, I know I've been bringing it up more because I just think it's something important to bring it up more. Definitely wintergreen. There is almost like a minty sort of texture to the background of this one. Very curious. Now, I feel like I've definitely had some that had a similar scent to this, but I do appreciate that, like, you're not gonna just be like, oh, this is what's strong in it. This is what, like, one more time here. Oh yeah. It's definitely more complex than your average root beer. I think that's interesting. But yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the pouring the foam. I know I won't be able to fill the mug with this, but we'll see how far we get. Here we are back with the old trusty mug. And maybe you'll even get a chance to see the hack job I did with this cap on this one. You can see it there. I don't know how well. No, I can't really get it in the camera, but let's just say that this cap is not going back on. All right, let's go ahead and just pour this out. Try not to get any wax in there as we do so. Ooh boy, look at that. That's a good foam right there. It's a good tall foam. Fill about half the bottle there. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a little taste of this. Look at that. Look at that. That's a lot of foam. I like it when it looks good like that. That might be too much as far as trying to drink it, but it's aesthetically pleasing. That's the whole point of showing the pouring the foam, is just to show you how aesthetically pleasing the root beer looks. And that is a classic looking, like, this is something you take photographs of that and put it on your website. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Okay. I definitely believe the no preservatives thing because, as I've talked about before, a lot of times when you try foam, if there are preservatives in it, I tend to find that you do have kind of a bitter chemical taste. And this lacks that, that's for sure. This does not have that. Whatever flavors, I'm going to try one more sip of the foam since there's still plenty left in there to try. It almost, like, I don't know for sure yet because I haven't tried the actual root beer yet, but it is almost just like drinking a little bit of the root beer. Even when I drank the foam, a lot of times the foam just kind of, like, you taste it and it kind of evaporates and just kind of disappears. This one almost condensed back down into liquid, and it was just like almost like taking a sip of the drink, which might be cheating in some ways, who knows. But no, it was was really good. As far as the flavor goes and everything, nothing stood out. You know, I've said in the past that foam in a root beer can kind of almost tell you what the aftertaste is usually going to be. It usually has a lot of whatever is going to be in the aftertaste of the root beer pushed forward. I don't necessarily feel that way about this one. This one just kind of feels like it tasted like a full flavor. Now the thing is like, if that ends up being true, then maybe the complexity isn't quite as up to what I would assume it was going to be, considering the scent. But it doesn't taste bad. At the very least, you know, let's say this foam just ends up being like the same flavor as the root beer. I already know I won't have anything really negative to say about it. But yeah, let's go ahead and do the taste test. Let's see how it tastes. All right. Bottoms up. Gold Mine root beer. What to say about it? I think, you know, I enjoy the fact that these premium root beers exist. And I'm glad almost like they put it out there in an obvious way. Wax sealing, special bottles, stuff like that. Because it really does feel like you know what you're getting. There is the extra effort put into it. And then when you actually taste one of these and you're like, yeah, this is different. This is a different thing than a normal root beer. It is premium in a lot of ways. It tastes very premium. It tastes very complex. It tastes lots of different flavors, and you're getting hit by different flavors at different point in the drink, and it just really nice. It's just really nice. So the flavors you're getting with this one are definitely like I always mention the normal root beer taste, but it is that, but in a way that is elevated. You can just kind of taste the quality in it. Like, I know that's such a vague way of putting it. But like, for example, like the anise, similar to last week's review, where I was talking about how the anise flavor was, I believe it was last week's review. The anise flavor is definitely there, is definitely apparent, but there's a sweetness to it that doesn't make it an overpowering flavor, and it doesn't ruin the drink, which I usually think too much anise does. Like, think less black licorice, more Twizzler. That's a terrible example, but maybe you kind of understand what I'm trying to say. Because Twizzlers taste like cherry, they don't actually taste like licorice. But anyway, you get my point, is the fact that like black licorice, it definitely has its own flavor, but if you add more sweetness to it, it kind of lessens that, whatever you want to call that flavor. I mean, like I said, when I first took the first scent of it, you definitely taste like there is almost like a minty, and I don't want to say that in a way that makes you think like, oh, minty, but like there is something there. There is something, there's almost like a refreshingness that adds to the smoothness of it, because it's also very smooth. It has a light bite to it, but nothing like super crazy or anything like that. I did find myself a little bit belchy right after drinking it, but that's passed right away, so it might just been whatever. And the aftertaste, which is always a big deal for me, because so many of these drinks have terrible aftertastes. The aftertaste of this one is definitely kind of like a mix of that sweet anise, but also a nice vanilla to it. Almost kind of like a vanilla bean, if that makes sense. If you've ever had like a vanilla bean ice cream, and how there's almost like I don't want to say spiciness to it, but there's almost like vanilla bean usually has a little bit of extra something to it. I don't know exactly how to explain it. Like I was gonna say spicy or peppery or something like that, but that's not the right terminology. But you as the viewer probably understand what I'm trying to say, the difference between having like vanilla ice cream and vanilla bean ice cream. Okay, anyway, So, you know, trying to explain the flavors, like like I said, it's not that it tastes unique in a way that it tastes different than a lot of root beers, but it does taste like a higher quality of a normal root beer. Like you would taste this and be like, "Oh, this is a really good root beer." Um, but you maybe wouldn't be able to like vocalize what it was about the flavors themselves that make you think that way. Like if I was to talk about like Sprecker's root beer, right? Why do I think Sprecker's is my favorite? And I think a big part of that is the fact that they use honey in the root beer. And I think that gives it a different flavor that makes it taste extra good to me, right? I think that in this case over here, it's not that there's any particular ingredient that's poking out and saying like, oh wow, this makes this taste amazing. It just kind of tastes like a premium example of what you expect a root beer to taste like. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the letter grade. So in describing this one, the flavor of it, I think I kind of made it obvious that what range I'm looking at here, right? It's definitely above a C. I'm not going to give it an A. I'm going to end up giving it a B. And the only reason is because, like I've said before, A's are usually reserved for exactly what I was talking about with a Sprecker's or like a Chug-a-Lug Cherry or something like that, right? Where it's like there is an additional something added to the root beer that kind of sends it over the edge a lot of times. Maybe it's just straight up just more vanilla. Maybe it's, you know, whatever. Maybe sometimes it is like a super premium root beer. In this case, I would say that because it's so balanced, because it's nothing is overwhelming, everything tastes good, but like I said, it's a premium flavor of what you expect a root beer to taste like. It is the best of what I would consider like a normal flavored root beer, which is high. That's a high praise. You know, it's not going out of its way to like hit you with different you know, mixtures and stuff and weird flavors and stuff like that. It is just a high, it's root beer working at its highest level before then, you know, trying to do something different to raise the level. And I guess that's why I'm giving it a B, is because like I said, it's like a seal of excellence. You know what I mean? It's just very good at being the best of regular flavored root beer. You know what I mean? I hope I'm making it clear what I'm trying to say exactly. Like I said, it's just that there's no flavor that's going to blow you away, but I can just imagine someone else, you know, taking a drink of this and being like, oh, this tastes way better than a normal root beer, and I'm not sure why. And that is kind of what it is. It's you might not know why in your head, or you know it just tastes premium. You know it tastes better than just a normal bottle of root beer. So yeah, B. And that's it for that one. And go ahead and like or subscribe or comment, or don't do any of those things and just enjoy the root beer. And I hope it helps you make your purchasing decisions in the future. Other than that, nothing else new here. So I hope you had a good time.